Good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Today's session essentially is a repeat of the session which I had conducted last week. A lot of students had missed out on that particular session because of their other schedule. So we decided that let's conduct it once again. Obviously, it's a live session only, and it's being live streamed for the benefit of all the students who are not, who did not submit their details using the Google form. They would have probably joined from YouTube live. The purpose of this session is not to give you any technical gyan per se. No. The purpose of this session is to orient yourself in the direction of effective preparation for BARC interview. Remember that BARC interview is a lot different from other PSU interviews. See, in other PSU interviews, there is a finite element of non-tech questions. There could be questions related to your personality. There could be questions related to the whys and hows of BARC. In this interview, the focus majorly is on making you come out with your best knowledge related to your stream. And that is the only objective of this interview which BARC is conducting. You might have heard from some of your seniors, or maybe some of you have already appeared for the BARC interview in the earlier years. You may say, no, sir, we were asked a lot of non-technical questions. There were a lot of HR questions. I don't deny that. There are HR questions. There are starter questions. Tell us about yourself. Why? What is the reason for such a long gap, etc., etc. But that does not mean that they are focusing on your responses to those questions. No. The basic purpose of all these questions is to put you at ease. They're very clear about one thing, that a candidate comes out with his best performance when he or she is not stressed. So the initial set of questions which are asked from you in a BARC interview are only to put you at ease. There is no other reason for asking these questions. Otherwise, what is there is absolutely no sanctity in asking, okay, what is the name of your college? Where is it located? Are there any other branches of your college? No, it doesn't make any sense. It is only to reduce your level of anxiety. I mean, there could even be a question like, are you staying in the guest house? I hope you had a good breakfast. Again, meaningless, it appears. But then it is only to relieve your tension. It is only to put you at ease. Because I keep getting messages from a lot of students. They say, sir, whenever I'm going in any interview, I'm very stressed. Now, this is the panel's way of de-stressing you. So don't worry. Even if you don't know the answer to a particular non-tech question, your performance is not going to get underrated. If your responses to the technical questions are high quality, relevant, precise, to the point, definitely you stand a very good chance of making it to the final list. And there is one more thing. You would have noticed that BARC never announces the number of vacancies. The reason for not announcing the number of vacancies is that there is no fixed quota per se. Yes, they may be having an internal upper limit, but no. And there is no lower limit also. As I'll be sharing some information with you, and you will realize that in one particular year, they were so choosy that out of 108 candidates or 105 candidates who were called for interview for the instrumentation branch, they selected only 3 candidates. See, end of the day, they are not sitting there to waste their time. End of the day, they are sitting there to identify a candidate who is the best fit for the profile, who is ready to work in the BARC mold. That is the reason for such a stringent selection procedure. As I'll be sharing in some of the slides coming forward, I'll use a PPT where you will be able to identify what kind of calls, what is the number of selections, and then I have just added for statistical purpose, what is the selection ratio year to year. It has no bearing on the number of selections which may take place in 2026. Another thing, they are shortlisting candidates based on the performance in GATE and an online exam which is conducted by BARC. And you all know that for GATE, they are taking the best of the 3-year score, best of the scores of 24, 25, 26 for this edition of OCES and DGFS recruitments. OCES is the 1-year program and DGFS is the fellowship program, which is 2 years, including MTech. Right? Now, very clearly, they are looking for quality, the best of quality. The people who are oriented, who have a bent of mind for carrying out the research work, and who are keen and ready to be working in Department of Atomic Energy. More often than not, you end up getting posted to one of the nuclear power plants, which is under construction. So that's something, which is needed to be kept in mind by you. So don't worry if you, after final selection, you actually get posted to Indore or you actually get posted to Kalpakam. It's perfectly fine. They have clearly mentioned in their information brochure that you can be posted to any of the sites. The list of sites, again, it's there in the brochure. I'll also share it on the slide for your benefit, right? One important aspect that you must bear in mind is there is no room for bluffing. There is absolutely no room for bluffing in BARC interview. And there is one more thing which I normally say, and that is you should not try to give long answers. Okay? Don't give long answers. Give very precise answers, and that will make you stand tall in the eyes of the panel. Right? Let me go for the full screen wherever it's possible. Okay. Session has started. So let's come straight to the start of the content. A summary of the number of calls that have been issued in the last 3 years. As you notice, this year the number of calls is fairly high. Good enough, good for you. A lot of candidates would have been shortlisted. See, if you notice that there is an increase in the number of calls for civil engineers. 110 in 24, 229 in 25, 281 in 26. That is the current year. Now, very clearly, it does not reflect that they are recruiting more civil engineers this year. No, don't be under that impression. Don't be under that impression that they are recruiting more civil engineers this year. No, it does not matter what is the number of candidates which are called shortlisted, right? Computer science, again, it shows a bigger number. But if you notice, from 153 calls in 24, they selected only 13 candidates. Whereas from 180 candidates shortlisted for computer science in 2025, they selected merely 9. That means almost a selection ratio of 1:20. EC, they are calling 309 people this year. They had called almost half last year, and they had called 1.5 times in 2024. 21 selections in 24, but only 8 selections in electronics in 2025. Electrical saw a very big number in 2025. 40 candidates selected finally, made offers, so to say, out of 342 called for the interview. This year, the number of candidates shortlisted is almost same as the one which were called in 2024. But in 24, there were 22 selections out of 237, whereas 40 selections out of 342 in 25. We don't know what is in store for us in 2026. Instrumentation, generally they call 100 plus. 24 was probably one of the best years of recruitment for instrumentation candidates with a selection ratio of 1:15. Last year also, it was almost close to the same, 7 out of 109. This year, they are called 102. Mechanical has seen a big surge in the number of candidates shortlisted for interview. 943 called in 24, resulting in 48 selections. But 904 called last year enabled them to select only 36. This year, we have close to 1,200 candidates. Let's see how many do they finally select. So don't do any guesswork. Don't do any guesswork. The cutoff data is already in front of you. The online exam which they are conducting has total score of 300. And you will notice that the highest cutoff has been for electrical engineering, 152, which is almost 50% of the raw score. Mechanical saw a very fierce competition in terms of online, but they have got a low cutoff in terms of gate. Instrumentation again is reasonably low by 44. Electrical at 730, electronics at 759. Computer science always is generally high, 851 this year. Civil is 796, which is less than last year's cutoff, right? But the next one is another interesting information. This is for 23-24. Let's skip it. Let's not spend time on this. This is just a summary of the calls issued in the last 6 years, including this year. And here is the number of selections year-wise. But what is more important to be seen is this particular slide, which gives you an idea about the kind of selection ratios that we have. You will notice that the best selection has been in the year 25 for civil engineers with 1:5.6, almost 1 out of 5 candidates getting shortlisted. Computer science is 1 out of 20. Mechanical was the toughest as 1 out of 25. Electrical, the easiest, second easiest, so to say, next to civil engineers, 1 out of 8.5, right? Now, this will give you an idea about the kind of competition that you face. In other words, how strongly or how committed you have to prepare in terms of your interview, right? Again, the same thing, year-wise selection ratio has been summarized on a single slide. Now, what are we looking at in terms of BARC preparation? What are the areas to be prepared? Number one is subject knowledge. And in fact, I'll say subject knowledge, subject knowledge, subject knowledge, nothing but subject knowledge. And then here the requirement is start from the very basics. Don't start with derivations. No. And there is another thing which you must bear in mind. Maybe there is a misconception in some of the minds that they may ask you to solve numerical. No, they don't ask you to solve numericals. They are basically wanting to have a threadbare discussion about the concepts. Maybe they'll pick up an equation and they will have discussion related to that equation. Just to give an example, maybe they pick up transformer equation. The implication of the different terms in the transformer equation. Maybe they pick up the alternator equation. Again, the implications of the rotational speed, implications of the number of poles, etc., etc. Same thing holds good for, let's say, a subject like song. Maybe they start with what are the different theories of failures? Why have 6 theories of failures? What is the application of each of these theories? Which is your favorite theory? Why? For what kind of material is this particular theory used? And then they may get on to asking you to draw a stress strain curve. And then there could be even a very simple question like, why is strain on the x-axis? Why not stress on the x-axis? Again, this is the build-up for the more difficult things to come to your question bank, right? There is another invariable set of questions which keep getting asked by students. Sir, where from can I get a question bank for the previous year's interview? My dear students, there is one thing which I'll always tell you. Don't waste your time in trying to collect the previous year's questions. Even if you are watching some of the videos where they say that this is our live experience of the BARC interview, etc., etc., you would notice, again, based on a careful watch, that for two mechanical engineers, even with the same set of subjects suggested by them, the set of questions being asked are not identical. Very clearly, the questions flow based on your response to a particular question, right? So don't, instead of trying to, fish around for the question bank for BARC, my suggestion will be try to simulate based on your own understanding. Try writing a set of 7, 8, 10 questions and then build on with your response in mind. Whatever is the answer that you give, maybe the next question can be asked based on what is your answer to that question. So that is something which you must bear in your mind, right? Focus on your in-depth subject preparation. Start with basic definitions and then slowly ramp up the degree of difficulty. There is always a possibility that they may ask you for derivations. I've very clearly written here, project and training are not likely to matter. But once again, don't be surprised if somebody tells you, no, they asked me about my BTech project. So be prepared for it. But you must ask the same person, did they go in detail about your BTech project? The answer clearly will be no, they did not. But what can be asked, what can possibly be asked is the subjects which are connected with the project title that you give. That is something which can be asked. And then there is another thing. Again, that is something which is being watched by them. The project required you to have good knowledge about, let's say, transportation. Now, transportation as a subject is not much relevant for BARC. Believe me, they won't even ask anything about about your project. They will ask you about the project only if the work that you have done is related to their area of interest. Only then they're going to be getting deeper into your project. 99 out of 100 cases, they don't go beyond asking you the title of your project. Or worst case, they may ask you which subjects were relevant for making your project more effective. That's it. Summer training, internship, end of semester training, this is something which is almost never discussed during a BARC interview. They may ask you, where did you go for internship? Sir, I went to Badapur Thermal Power Project. I'm talking about my case. After third year, we had a 6 weeks internship. We went to Badapur Thermal Power Project. At that time, it was BTPP project. It was in the project stage. Only the first unit of 100 megawatts had been commissioned, and unit 2 and unit 3 were under different stages of commissioning. No questions going beyond that. No questions going beyond that. Hobbies will have absolutely no role in your selection. Yes, you may have. What is your hobby? Sir, my hobby is sleeping. So they'll have a laugh. Actually, don't say that my hobby is sleeping, right? You can say, sir, I enjoy reading books. I like to read newspaper every day. I like to listen to Hindi songs. Whatever you want to say. Good enough. They're not going deeper into it. They will never go deep into it. And the cardinal rule of performing well in a BARC interview is do not bluff while answering any question. If you don't know the answer to a question, take a short pause. Sorry, sir, I don't know. Alternative can be, sir, I have studied, but I'm not able to recall. कोई problem नहीं है, कोई भी problem नहीं है. और मान लीजिए आपसे उन्होंने एक ऐसे सब्जेक्ट, एक ऐसे टॉपिक के बारे में पूछा जिसके बारे में आपको जरा भी आइडिया नहीं. You have zero idea about the topic about which they are asking you a question. First 2-3 questions, sorry sir I don't know, sorry sir I don't know, sorry sir I don't know, कोई नुकसान नहीं होगा. ये मत सोचना कि आपको on the spot rejection कर देंगे. No. But then, if they are asking you a set of questions from a subject or a topic which you have not studied at all, you can say, sir, this topic was not a part of our course curriculum and therefore I did not study. But make this statement only if it is genuinely correct. Don't fake an answer. Don't fake an answer. Because faking an answer can prove to be disastrous for you. ये गलती कभी मत कर देना कि उनको क्या पता लगेगा कि मेरे कोर्स में था या नहीं था. They're well aware of it. See, the interview panel in BARC may consist of members ranging from 4 to 8. और इंटरव्यू रूम में मेंबर्स आते जाते रहते हैं. कुछ मेंबर्स सिर्फ घूमने फिरने आते हैं. 3-4 मेंबर्स परमानेंटली थ्रू आउट द इंटरव्यू दे विल बी स्टेशनरी, बट देयर मे बी सम members, some panelists who might come for a short duration and they may go. Don't be worried about. Don't worry about them at all. No. Yes, there will be a chairman of the board, but the decision in this particular interview is not solely with the chairman. After every interview is over, they discuss about the candidate and then possibly they arrive at the final scoring pattern. They do not specify the cutoff for selection. They do not specify the cutoff for final selection. And as I said, yes, NPCIL has specified 70% in the interview for general categories, 60% for other categories, etc. Maybe BARC also has that internal guideline, which in other words means that they do not recruit a candidate who falls short of their expectation on technical evaluation. They're very clear about it. They're very clear about it. If they don't find candidates suitable, not meeting their expectation levels, they will not select. Even if it means selecting only 20 candidates out of 400 called for the interview, or 20 candidates out of even 600 called for the interview. I've already given you the example of instrumentation where 3 candidates were selected out of 105 or 108 who were shortlisted that year. I think the year that I'm talking about is 2017. In instrumentation, they made only 3 selections out of 105 or 108. I'm missing that exact number. I'll be able to recall it. Don't worry. Right? So clearly, they are looking at in-depth subject knowledge. And there is no room for bluff, I keep saying. The duration of your interview may exceed 45 minutes. And normally, the upper limit that I have known is 90 minutes. But there are exceptions. There are exceptions. Do not ever try to boast about your knowledge. Don't try to throw your weight around. There is one question which normally is asked from me. Sir, I had published a technical paper. Should I show it to them during the interview? With reference to the context, if there is any question asked as a part of your course curriculum, did you get an opportunity to publish any technical paper? Then you say, yes, sir. The title of the paper published by me under my project guidance was this. It was presented at IEEE symposium or whatever, wherever it was posted. If they find the title of your paper relevant for them, they'll get into the discussion. Otherwise, okay, that's very good. That's very good enough. I have written here, the number one question is less likely to discuss about gap years. It's truly so. They may ask you, you are a pass out of 2022, and today we are running in 2026. What have you done in the last 4 years? Don't get shocked. Don't get shocked. Sir, after completing my BTech, I started preparing for competitive exams. My objective was to work in a research organization. My first choice was BARC. My first preference was BARC, followed by ISRO, DRDO, etc., etc. Sir, I very narrowly missed getting shortlisted for BARC interview last year. But not giving up on my dream of wanting to be a member of BARC family, I continued with my preparation. I do realize it has taken me longer. Good enough. You're not faking. You have been preparing, you're not faking. They normally don't get into what has been your gate performance in the last 4 years, something. But in case they ask you, be clear about mentioning it. See, usually the benchmark for mentioning the gate performance is rank, because marks or score may not be connecting. So you say, sir, start with the lowest rank, which was probably in 24, then 25 and 26. Mention it. they are not asking you to show you the scorecards. No. In the interview, they will not ask you to show any credentials. They will not ask you to show your project report. They will not ask you to show your training report. इसलिए उनको लेकर भी मत जाना इंटरव्यू रूम में गलती से भी, right? Derivations, obviously, you have to be ready with. Now, there are two modes of conduct of the interview in BARs. During COVID period, they were asking you to go to the whiteboard. Normally, they ask you to write on a stack of white papers, which are kept in front of you, and freshly sharpened bunch of pencils. एक पेंसिल का लेड तोड़ दो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, वहां पे शार्पन करने की जरूरत नहीं है, दूसरी पेंसिल उठाओ, लिखना शुरू करो. Why I'm specifically mentioning pencil or whiteboard for that matter? Practice writing using a pencil, normal lead pencil. Practice writing using a whiteboard marker. I have known candidates who were caught on the wrong foot when they were asked to go to the whiteboard, let's say in an ISRO interview. And they were finding it very difficult to write on the whiteboard. थोड़ी सी practice कर लेना ताकि ये shock ना लगे तुम्हारे को. That's it, nothing else. But usually in a BARC interview, it helps if you are focusing more on graphs and equations. Reason why I'm saying graphs and equations is because graphs and equations make very interesting discussion background. And obviously, if you're making a graph, you are very clear about the implications of that graph. The nature of the curve, the stress strain curve, if you look at. So what are the yield points, Y1, Y2? What is the comparison of the stress strain curve for aluminum and steel? Comparison of the slopes. Again, all these are very easily explained and discussed using a graph. Practice making some graphs which actually look like the real graphs. They are not expecting you to take a scale and draw straight lines and things of that kind. No, ऐसा जरूरत नहीं है. But whenever you're drawing a curve, whenever you're drawing a graph, it should be closer to the actual graph which may be there, right? A question which has been asked from me is, sir, what is a dress code for BARC interview? Frankly, if you ask me, there is no dress code per se. I have known candidates going in t-shirt and jeans, getting selected. On the other side, I have also known candidates who have gone in a three-piece suit with a tie and not making any headway in the interview. Obviously, the result is clear, no selection. But yes, when you're going for this interview, it's better that you dress conservatively, right? And if you're talking about boys, they can go in shirt and trouser, not a loud color shirt, but maybe a light color, white, cream, gray, very light blue, a dark color trouser, acceptable. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Generally, BARC के इंटरव्यू के लिए मैं टाई recommend नहीं करता. So you are going to be interviewed from around the middle of May. The weather in Mumbai can be very sultry. It's the onset of monsoon in Mumbai, which means do carry an extra change of clothes. If you get wet while traveling, you must have an extra pair of clothes so that you are fine. In terms of shoes, normally for a PSU interview, I recommend black leather shoes. I would suggest the same, but even if you go in a normal sport shoes, it will not matter. It will not matter. I continue to say it will not matter. Use a black belt, black colored leather belt if you want to. Shoes, if you are going, let them be clean. Black shoes, dark tan shoes, whatever, properly polished, that's it. Do have a bath on the day of the interview. Keep your hair trim in place. Be presentable. In short, be presentable, right? And when we talk about the dress for the girls, you can go in conventional Indian dress. kurti with chudidar or kurti with salwar or kurti with straight trousers, maybe salwar suit, anything is acceptable. Western formals, I normally suggest not to go for. That's it. But end of the day, it's entirely your choice. But this is my suggestion, right? Don't use any perfume on the day of the interview. The reason why I'm saying any perfume or deo not to be used is because some people are allergic to the smell of a deo or a perfume. It should not happen that you enter the interview room and somebody, one of the panel members, walks out of the room sneezing away to glory because he or she is allergic to the smell. मत करो यूज. नहा धो के चले जाओ ताकि आपसे स्मेल ना आए. That's it. Just caution. Just caution. Cell phone, very strictly don't carry in the room. They will not allow you to carry in the room. Probably they are not allowing you to carry the cell phone in the complex itself. Watch can be avoided. Pen, again, you can put it in the shirt pocket. There is no issue. All right. That's it. I repeatedly say HR questions are likely to be zero in this interview. See, when you enter the room, etiquette say that first you should greet the panel. When you enter the room, don't suddenly go and sit in the chair which is kept for you. Before entering the room, give a soft knock on the door, open it without getting any prompt from inside, open half the door and say, sir, may I come in? Somebody will say, yes, please enter, stand behind the chair and first greet the panel. Maybe you can start with the chairperson, good morning, sir, and collectively the rest of the members. But if there is a female member, wish the female panelist first, good morning, ma'am, good morning, sirs. Enough. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. कुर्सी की तरफ इशारा करके कि मेरे को बैठने के लिए तो बोलो, ऐसा मत करना. They will ask you to sit down, don't worry. They will ask you to sit down. So relax. They are not giving you punishment. In fact, I remember one incident which one of the students narrated to me long back, 17, probably 15, 16. Now, in those days, what BARC used to do was that after the interview is over, they'll give a slip to the candidates who are likely to be in the final list. Who are likely to be in the final list. There will be some color of the slip, and the other color of the slip is to the candidates who are clearly told, no, we are not taking you. This part was very clear. Now, there was one candidate who went, whose only objective was to collect the journey fare. He wanted to visit Bombay and enjoy his holiday there. So he went to BARC interview. एंटर करने से पहले ही उसने बाहर एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव स्टाफ से पूछा, भाई मेरे को आज फेयर रिम्बर्समेंट आज कैश हो जाएगा? बोले यस वी विल रिम्बर्स, बट ऑब्वियसली यू हैव टू फर्स्ट अपीयर फॉर द इंटरव्यू, ओनली देन. He entered the interview room. Obviously, the answers were definitely nowhere near the expectation. The result was the duration of the interview was 20 minutes. Thank you very much, sir. Came out with a slip कि भैया इसको फेयर रिम्बर्स कर दो. किराया उसने कैश में दिया. उस समय क्या, they used to pay in cash. He just walked out for his planned holiday in Mumbai. These days, obviously, they are not giving in cash. They are transferring it to your bank account, which means that you must have a bank account. If you have not opened a bank account in your name, please open it now. They don't reimburse the fare in the name of your guardian or anybody. I'm sure each of you has a bank account. They expect you to give the details of your bank account, which means the account number, the bank name, the IFSC code. Only then the amount gets transferred to your account. Make sure that you have it. And usually they ask you to submit a cancelled check leaf, because the cancelled check leaf contains your name, it contains your account number, it contains the name of the bank, and it contains the IFSC code. अगर आपके पास चेकबुक नहीं है तो इशू करवा लीजिए, और अगर चेकबुक नहीं इशू हो सकती तो you must have a printed passbook which carries all these details. That means the name of the bank, branch, IFSC code, account number, and your name. Be clear about it. There is no deviation accepted on this, right? Once the interview is over, somebody will say, okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. Simply say, thank you, sirs. बाहर निकल आओ, दरवाजा वापस खोल के कान लगा के सुनने की मत कोशिश करना कि मेरे बारे में क्या डिस्कशन चल रहा है. डोंट डू दैट. नॉट गुड. Okay. The major focus from now onwards in our discussion is going to be selecting the subjects which are preferred to be prepared. I use the word preferred to be prepared. रीजन एक ही है, रेलेवेंट सब्जेक्ट्स को प्रिपेयर करके जाओगे, उनको भी सुन के अच्छा लगेगा एंड दे विल फील दैट यस, दिस कैंडिडेट is clear about his goal. Right? Move forward. There could be a question about tell us about yourself. I have listed out the sequence in which you should tell. It is not necessary that they'll allow you to complete everything that is written here. No. The moment you complete your schooling and college and this thing, they'll immediately move on to, now once they have seen that now you are comfortably settled, they'll straight away come to the interview. They will not ask you any further questions related to the non-tech aspects. They'll ask you, what are the 4 subjects that you have prepared for this interview? The question is, what are the 4 subjects you have prepared for this interview? They are not asking what are your favorite subjects. इसलिए जब आपसे सवाल पूछा जाए, what are the 4 subjects that you have prepared for this interview, don't say, sir, my favorite subjects are. Because in n number of mock interviews that I've been conducting for the last 10 years plus in MadeEasy, the response invariably is, sir, my favorite subjects are this. They don't care about your favorite subjects. They are only caring about what subjects have you prepared for the BARC interview today. So answer in that. कोई problem नहीं. कोई problem. And when it is a pen and paper interview, pencil and paper interview, they usually ask you to write on the piece of paper. Pick up the paper, write down the 4 subjects, and they will ask you to give it to them. That paper will be kept by them. And one by one, they will start asking questions from those 4 subjects that you have written. In some cases, I'm using the word in some cases, they ask, have you prepared any other subjects which you want to add to this list? In that case, you add a 5th subject. But जरूरी नहीं है कि हर केस में ये पूछा जाए. It's not necessary they'll ask you. They'll ask this question from everybody. Right? Clear enough? I'm also displaying a list of non-tech questions. I'm not displaying it here, but I have included it in the documents that I'm going to share with you. I don't want to discuss the detailed answers for those questions. I'll give you a reference video, which is the recording of the video session conducted for ONGC interview. You can watch that video in case you want to prepare answers to those so-called non-tech questions or so-called HR questions. आप उसको देख सकते हो. इस सेशन में मैं नहीं उसको कवर करना चाह रहा. I don't want to cover it in this session, right? The documents will be mailed to you. I have to mail it even to the candidates who attended the first session. I'll prepare it today and mail it across to you today. All the documents are ready. All the relevant papers are ready, which have to be mailed to you. They'll be sent to you today. We already have your email IDs. And those of you who have joined us from YouTube, please send your particulars by mail to interviews@madeeasy.in. Right? Send it by mail to interviews@madeeasy.in. Okay. Let's take a look at some of the subjects which can be relevant for this interview, starting with mechanical engineering. The most important subject is SOM. Now, notice one thing, that these subjects are not necessarily in order. You can pick up any in any order. You can write on the piece of paper in any sequence, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. But SOM is something which is very important for mechanical engineers. Fluid mechanics and fluid machinery can be written as two separate subjects. They can be written as two separate subjects, right? Machine design or theory of machines can be written. There is one more subject that you can add. You can even write engineering mechanics as a separate subject. Let me make a change here. Let me add that subject, additional subject. Engineering mechanics, right? Going back to the full screen mode, right? Thermodynamics and heat transfer can be stated as a subject. They are quite interested in having a detailed discussion on this subject. Engineering mechanics, again, is very useful. Material science is a subject which they actually love. But I have written a caveat. Mention this subject only if you have very thoroughly prepared this subject from a standard reference book like Alistair, because they go very deep into it. So if you have prepared well for material science, definitely without any trouble, mention this. Power plant equipment, IC engines can be mentioned if you are wanting to skip any of the earlier subjects that have been listed in this sheet. Identify important derivations, subject-wise. Subjects which you have identified to be written on the piece of paper. Some of the documents which I'm sharing, there is a particular document related to pumps. In fact, that particular document is a compilation of a very vast variety of questions that can be asked related to pumps. Very comprehensive book published by the working engineers of a company called Worthington Pumps, which is one of the world leaders in pump manufacturing on a global base. Turbines are specifically written steam turbines. Why steam turbines? Because end of the day, power is getting generated by converting water into steam with the heat energy that is released due to the fission process. They get into deep details related to steam turbines. The equation, the types of turbines, based on speed, based on whatever, the material used for the blades, the cavitation phenomena, the specific speed, comparison of specific speed of a pump versus turbine. Is there any unit of specific speed? Just an example of some of the questions. Same way, when we talk about fluid mechanics, there could be discussion on Bernoulli's principle. There could be discussion on Bernoulli's theorem. In case of, there could be questions related to non-destructive testing of materials. Be ready, right? For civil engineers, SOM, soil structure, should normally be included as your prepared subjects. You can prepare building materials. You can write environmental science. You can write RCC and steel and structure. They can be written as two separate subjects. Fluid mechanics can be a subject that can be mentioned by you. Earthquake engineering can be a subject mentioned by you. But then there are subjects which are to be avoided. Irrigation, hydrology, rock engineering, highway engineering, transportation engineering. The reason why I'm saying avoid mentioning these subjects is because they don't have any relevance for BARC per se. So it will not be logical for you to mention these subjects, right? But there is a counter question which is asked from me. Sir, I have done my MTech in hydrology. How do I defend that? They will not ask you to defend it. Don't be under the impression that they'll ask you to defend a decision which you have taken in the past. ऐसा नहीं है. They won't ask you to defend your decision of why hydrology, why transportation, why irrigation. No. Supposing they ask you, and it will be in very casual mode only, don't take it to be a very serious question. You can always say, sir, when I was appearing for various competitive exams, particularly GATE, I realized that every time I'm not getting the result right for questions related to these areas, whichever is your area of specialization in MTech. So I decided to go deeper, opted for MTech. No doubt it meant investing 2 years, but then it helped me. It helped me in getting my higher scores. जेन्युइन आंसर है, फेक नहीं है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, बोल सकते हो, राइट? Instrumentation, in fact, one of the most important areas of discussion with instrumentation candidates is control valves. Prepare process control instrumentation, be very thorough with sensors and transducers. Control system is a subject which can be prepared very thoroughly. Measurements can be chosen as a subject. They do indulge in discussion related to PID diagrams because instrumentation plays a very important role in BARs. There is a reference book named Lessons in Industrial Engineering. You can search for it in pdfdrive.com and download it. It's a thick, fat book, but very comprehensive reference book for instrumentation engineers. If you are unable to find it, just send a mail to me. I'll send you the link for it. You can download it from pdfdrive.com and keep it. Don't try to read it. It's a book which has 3,600 pages. Just go through the index, go to the chapter from where you want to clarify doubts, and that's it. The moment you go through the index of this book, you will realize how comprehensive this book is and how useful can it be for your interview preparation, right? For electronics students, the subjects can be analog electronics, digital electronics, communication engineering, analog communication, and or digital communication as two separate subjects. Incidentally, engineering mathematics can also be one of the 4 subjects, right? And here, obviously, they are going into discussion related to functions and graphs and things of that kind. They could be going into Fourier transform, Laplace transforms, interconnectivity, application, where, when, how, right? Signal systems can be one of the subjects. Control system can be a subject chosen by you. EMT can be a subject, though less on priority. EDC, again, less on priority. Network theory, again, less on priority. The last 3 subjects, I would say, slightly keep it low on priority for a BARC interview, right? For electrical engineers, obviously, the most important subject would be electrical machines, and it includes transformers, it includes AC machines, DC machines, synchro motors, everything. Don't say, sir, electrical machines, but excluding AC machines. ऐसा मत बोलो, because then it's a half-baked preparation. Power electronics can be a preferred subject. Control system obviously is an important subject. Power systems can be chosen, but here a lot of discussion can be taking place with regard to protection equipment, stability, harmonics, etc. In terms of the 3 areas of power systems, that is generation, distribution, and transmission, they are more likely to focus on the generation part. So maybe if that is the area which you can do more thoroughly, it can help. You can choose engineering mathematics as one of the 4 subjects. Measurements, if nothing else, analog electronics, EMT, again, if nothing else, right? For computer science, obviously the focus is going to be on system programming aspect, which means the subjects to be chosen. Operating systems can be very important. Real-time operating systems can be an area of discussion for computer science candidates. Data structures and algorithms must be prepared very thoroughly. Don't even think of omitting this subject. I would say it's a mandatory subject. Discrete mathematics, including probability theory, would be an important area which can be included as a list of subjects prepared. Computer organization can be prepared. Computer networking with a focus on network intrusion detection again can be prepared. DBMS is not so important for BARC interview. See, at the top, I have written TDC 312, 316, 332. Now, incidentally, these were the mini computers which were made by ECIL. ECIL is nothing but the production arm for BARC, right? And TDC stands for Trombe Digital Networks. Trombe Digital Computer. Trombe is the place where BARC is located. And that's it. Digital electronics for computer science can be chosen, but obviously microprocessors will have to be prepared very thoroughly. Same way, network can be chosen. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. But as I said, only if no choice. That's the reason. That's the reason why it would be an important one. Okay. Work experience can be mentioned if you want. Work experience can be mentioned if you want. But they normally don't go into details related to your work experience. It was in response to a question which had been posted. I'll take up any further questions after I have finished. Not much is left from my part. I'll take up the questions later. Now, there is one more thing. This again is an important aspect related to BARC. OCES is the 1-year training program where you are paid a stipend. I think 74,000 is the stipend, plus obviously accommodation is provided to you. DGFS is the 2-year program where they make you go through MTech. Now, if you have taken admission or if you're seeking admission for MTech in either IIT Bombay or IIT Madras in some chosen disciplines, then you have the option of continuing with that MTech. The difference will be that one of the project will be suggested by your mentor in BARC along with your mentor at the respective IIT. The entire expenditure for MTech is paid for by BARC. At the end of your 2 years MTech, they'll make you go through a 3 months or 6 months internship at the BARC, and you start off with 3 advanced increments, 3 or 4 advanced increments, depending on your performance. It does give you a little head start in comparison with the candidates who are joining for OCS program, right? Just a summary of the courses. For IIT Bombay, if you're doing MTech, if you have been selected for MTech in thermal and fluid engineering or MTech in design, definitely you are eligible for upgrade to DGFS, but on application. You have to apply for conversion from OCES to DGFS after the declaration of the result of OCES, right? At IIT Madras, thermal engineering and mechanical design are the 2 disciplines for mechanical engineers, and computational and experimental mechanics is the discipline under the applied mechanics department. Earlier, they used to include NIT Rourkela also and IIT Roorkee also for one of the courses, but last 2-3 years, they are restricting only to IIT Bombay and IIT Madras. No other course or institute is eligible for this conversion from OCS to DGFS, right? For civil engineers, the courses at IIT Bombay are structural engineering, geotechnical engineering, CTM, and environmental science and engineering. Needless to say that your BTech degree has to be civil engineering and gate code also is CE, right? All this information is there in the BARC information brochure. This is only for highlighting and making you keep at the back of your mind. For electrical engineers, the disciplines of BTech degree are very clearly spelled out. And the branches for MTech at IIT Bombay for electrical engineering and electronics and communication, that means gate code EE and EC are communication engineering, electronic systems, and integrated circuits and systems. For IIT Madras, for EC, gate code There are two branches: integrated circuits and systems, and microelectronics and VLSI design. Then we have at IIT Bombay, under the control and computing, eligible for gate code EE, EC, and IN. And then there are the BTech degree specializations have been clearly mentioned. For EC and IN gate codes, at IIT Madras, there are 3 more courses which are open: communication and signal processing, control and optimization, and electronic systems design and instrumentation. So be clear about what is your specialization in MTech at IIT Bombay or IIT Madras, which you are ending up getting. And there is an interdisciplinary group for system and control engineering. Eligible gate codes are EE, EC, and IN, and the BTech degrees are mentioned here. And it's available only at IIT Madras. Computer science, BTech in computer science for IIT Bombay and IIT Madras. The eligible branches have been clearly mentioned. IIT Madras is the place where gate code can be CE, EC, or CS. But your BTech degree has to be in computer science, computer engineering, CSE, EE, electronics engineering, and other branches which are eligible for the admission to the MTech in computer science program at IIT Madras. Right? Typical datelines. The selection interview schedule is from 12th of May to 12th of June. I'm sure all of you have already booked your interview slots and have updated in the Google form. If you're not updated, please do so. I intend trying to have these kinds of interactions just to put you at ease in terms of your interview anxiety from time to time. But that will have to be done based on your interview date and obviously the branch. I was mentioning about the submission of the MTech details for changeover to DGFS. This is after the declaration of the result for OCS list. This is done in the first week of July. These are all tentative dates, again picked up from the information brochure and from the website of BARC, right? The current director of BARC is Mr. Vivek Bhasin. He took over as the director of BARC from September 2023 onwards, right? Obviously, the founder director was Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhava, followed by Dr. Homi Setna. And then we had Dr. Raja Ramanna, Dr. Fariduddin, who was the additional director, etc., etc. The possible posting can be at any of these locations, right? After posting to these locations, usually you tend to stay for a long time. But then there can be posting to a specific nuclear power plant where a particular reactor is under commissioning. So there could be a possible posting to that location. In the past, some candidates have asked, sir, is there any possibility of a location in West Bengal? Yes, there is a variable energy cyclone center in Kolkata where they can be posting, but it's a very rare posting. It's a very, very rare posting. So don't expect too much from this, right? And obviously, it's a very small place, so the promotion aspects will also be relatively limited. Kalpakkam is a place where a lot of candidates are posted. Mumbai, that is BARC, is again a place where a lot of candidates get posted, right? Civil engineers can get posted to Directorate of Construction Services and Estate Management, which is in Mumbai. And the research center, the Raja Ramanna Center for Advanced Technology in Indore, again has a number of engineers from mechanical stream getting posted to this place. These days, they are directly giving the posting once they declare the final result, right? Well, I guess that's what I had to cover by way of my coverage. I'll take a look at the questions that have been posted by you first in the Zoom chat, and then I'll also look at the questions that have been posted by you in YouTube. Let me take a look at it. Some questions, obviously, I have already answered. So in case there are any more questions which are left unanswered, I'll try to look at it. Abhigyan Google form has been posted in all the Made Easy Telegram groups. I'll get it posted once again. Don't worry. And in fact, the same thing holds good for the candidates who have joined from YouTube channel also. The documents to be carried during the interview process are the documents which are listed in your call letter. I will include that list also. Very low questions can be expected in case the simulation part is coming in the by way of the subject choice, right? MADEZ does conduct mock interviews for BARC and NPCL. It's a part of a paid program. The links are available in the MADEZ YouTube channel, in the Telegram groups, in the official Telegram group. You can, if you want to enroll, you can. MADEZ lectures which are there as a part of the interview guidance program, don't think that they are meant specifically for BARC. No, they are not. They are only giving you an idea about what can be the possible flow of questions. They are not 100% sufficient. But then if you are talking about the MADEZ lectures which you have attended for preparing for subjects, they are useful. They are definitely useful. Definitely they are useful. But whenever you want to go for any standard derivation, my recommendation will be to refer to a standard textbook or refer to the study material which is given by MADEZ to you, right? It should not be ambiguous. It should be very clear, right? Network analysis, obviously, the reference book is Van Valkenburg, if I remember correctly. That's a book which I had used when I was a student, right? You can specify electrical machines. You can specify transformers and DC machines, not an issue. Only mock interview is not available. Even if you want to take only mock interview, there is no difference in the costing, please. And don't ask us to do anything related to that. Okay. Interview videos are not available. When you appear for the mock interview, we can share that mock interview video of yours. Only online mock interview will be strictly in online mode only. There will be no physical mock interview. And then there is another aspect which you must keep in mind. If you are enrolling for the course, make sure that your Zoom connectivity is proper on the day of your mock interview. Otherwise, it ends up wasting a lot of time at your end as well as at our end. NPTEL lectures are good reference books, good reference points. There is no problem at all. Mock interviews we'll start conducting after maybe about a week. Accommodation is made available to the candidates who have been called for the interview. Maximum duration of the accommodation availability is 2 days. They do not allow any additional person other than the candidate if you are a male candidate, but they do allow one accompaniment along with female candidates. But the upper limit for stay is 2 days only. The details will get posted on the interview website of OCES. So be on the lookout for it. I'll also try to keep looking for it and post it in the Telegram groups, right? My suggestion will be, even if you have a place to stay in Mumbai, try staying in the guest house the night before your interview. They start the interview from 8 o'clock in the morning. So save the pressure of having to reach so early in the morning at Anushakti Nagar, because it's a 1.5 to 2 hours drive from wherever you might be staying, unless you are staying in a place like Chembur or Mankur, which are close by. It's worth staying in the hostel. They are providing good food, and naturally the travel time will be just 5 minutes. You just cross a road and from the guest house, you are in the interview venue. That's the reason why I normally suggest that, right? Let me take up the questions which have been posted in the YouTube. I want to give mock interviews and question doubts. Shantanu, you can enroll for the program and we'll be happy to give you a mock interview option, right? There is no gender diversity in BRC selection as far as I know. You will receive the call letter soon. It will be sent by mail or you can download it, right? Network theory as a fourth subject in electrical can be chosen. कोई problem नहीं है. रेडीमेड कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्वेश्चन बुक, बेटा आपका ब्रांच क्या है मेरे को पता नहीं है। इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर्स के लिए तो जेबी गुप्ता की बुक में हर चैप्टर के एंड में बहुत अच्छे क्वेश्चंस दिए हुए हैं। आई डोंट नो अबाउट अदर सब्जेक्ट्स, but JB Gupta can be a very good reference for variety of questions related to electrical engineers. There is no category-wise selection shortlist. No, there is no separate cutoff for categories. The only difference is the age limit is more for category. Otherwise, कुछ नहीं है. Otherwise, don't worry at all. There are no separate cutoffs for categories. HR क्वेश्चंस तो बेटा मैं हर PSU के लिए तो सेशन कंडक्ट करता ही करता हूं, उसमें तो कोई सोचने वाली बात ही नहीं है। आशीष राज हैज रिटन आई एम चूजिंग मशीन्स पावर इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स नेटवर्क एंड कंट्रोल, इट्स अ गुड ऑप्शन, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है बेटा। शांतनु इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चंस का कलेक्शन मेरे पास नहीं है, एंड एज आई सेड डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम इन कलेक्टिंग क्वेश्चंस। MTech in remote sensing, BTech in electrical engineering. See, they'll ask you to fill up a basic application form when you reach there. So if you want, you can mention about MTech in remote sensing, but it does not give you any advantage or disadvantage, if that is your question. Okay. General questions related to BARC type of reactors, nuclear program, nuclear fission, etc., are not asked. No, not to my knowledge. But whatever little you know about nuclear fission process, fission versus fusion, as a school student, to that extent you have to know. What is the isotope of uranium which is fissionable? I think U-235. I'm not wrong. Only to that extent. They don't expect you to be expert in nuclear engineering. Please believe that. They generally ask questions. 99.9% they restrict the questions only from the subjects which you are writing on the piece of paper. And one by one, they keep changing the subjects. After they finish first subjects, then they go to the next subject, then they go to third subject, and so on. That is how they do it, right? IG to book of UPPSC in, it gives you a possible flow of questions, beta. Lalit, if you just go through the list of questions which are there, the flow of questions in the interviews is what you get an idea of. I keep repeatedly saying any collection of interview questions will not help you at all. Don't waste time. Color of dress for girls, use pastel shades. Don't use very flowery print. That's avoidable. The idea is don't attract attention based on your dress. बस सिर्फ ये ध्यान में रखना है. End of the day, you're not going in a fashion show. You are going for a very formal interview for a very senior position, and that's what you have to do. Similar for NPCL, yes. The difference in the interview for NPCL will be there could be more focus on the application part and less focus on derivations part. I'll have a session for NPCL shortlist also. Don't worry. Shitanshu, you can refer to standard textbook, black pant and white shirt, perfectly fine. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. टाई की जरूरत ही नहीं है ललित. आपने शायद सुना नहीं. I don't recommend the use of tie for BARC, ISRO, DRDO. These three interviews, I normally don't recommend the use of tie. If you want to use a tie, please go ahead, but don't use red and maroon. Okay. If there is a call letter, that's enough. There is no further confirmation mail which will come to you from BARC. If you have experience of L&T, you can mention it. You can mention it in the form which they will ask you to fill up. Don't have to highlight it in the introduction. They'll say, oh, very good, very good. That's it. But if there is a subject which is related to your experience, they may ask you questions on that. There could be questions related to that. Yes. If anybody wants to unmute, I can unmute. Just raise your hand or send a message. I'll unmute also. I don't know who is this. Check the last Monday 61 candidate. This is a live session. It's not a recorded session. And be related only to this session. Don't ask irrelevant questions. ISRO interview shortlist has already been released. Shortlist has been released, but the schedule has not been released. Arpita, I prefer that you avoid shirt and trouser. But otherwise, if you're not comfortable at all in conventional dress, go ahead. Some more questions. Necessary to present the admit card or leftover slip. If they have mentioned it in the call letter, then it is mandatory. आप अवॉइड क्यों करना चाहते हो? मेरा तो ये सवाल आएगा. PPT is not provided. The contents of the PPT will be shared. Don't worry. Any standard books for EC? You can refer to the list of books which are there on the Made Easy website. If you want to ask some standard for a subject, you can write to me. I can send, or maybe I'll try to include it in the documents which I'm sharing. So don't even have to send a mail to me. Ritika, I have replied to your question. Muskan, I have replied to the question. For those of you who do not have my email ID, I'm just writing it in the chat box. It's dkarora@madeeasy.in. I'll be sending a link to all of you. Don't worry. I'll include in the mail which I'm sending so that you can fill it up in the Google Forms. The advantage of filling up the details is that any mail that I send will automatically reach you. There were 2-3 candidates who filled up their email ID incorrectly. I don't know whether the person has joined in the session today, because I did make a correction in the email ID and send the invitation by mail to him. कभी कभी वो लोग अपने आप ही सब्जेक्ट एक्स्ट्रा ऐड करवा देते हैं. लाइक बोलते हैं सुबह से हर बच्चा यही कॉम्बिनेशन ले रहा है, लेट्स ऐड वन मोर. आप ऐड करो. इसीलिए मैंने बोला ना कि 5वां सब्जेक्ट आप एक प्रिपेयर करके जाओ. दैट्स व्हाई. Raghunath, I'll try to locate the previous year's call letter and include the list of documents which are to be carried. Don't worry. I'll have another session and make sure that you don't miss out on this part. बिल्कुल मत घबराओ. Focus on your preparation. These are very small details. But yes, the documents which you have to carry with you necessarily will include the original and photocopy of your 10th class certificate, 12th class certificate, BTech degree, and caste certificate if you are from taking the relaxation of age. That's it. Telegram link is available in each of the subject Telegram groups of Made Easy. मेजरमेंट के लिए कोई बुक है क्या? मेरे को याद नहीं है बेटा. आई हैड स्टडीड बट मेरे को बिल्कुल याद नहीं है. अब ऑथर का नाम शायद साहनी था या पता नहीं क्या था. Mechanical, applied and computational mechanics can be studied. Mentioned institute. I think it is IIT Madras, beta. I think it is IIT Madras. ललित, यू आर अगेन मेकिंग अ मिस्टेक. फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट का वर्ड वो नहीं यूज करते. वो बोलते हैं कौन से सब्जेक्ट आप प्रिपेयर करके आए हो. आपने उस लिस्ट में अपने 4 सब्जेक्ट्स लिख देने हैं. अगर वो कहते हैं कि नहीं एक और सब्जेक्ट बताओ, तो 5वां सब्जेक्ट लिखो. अपने आप मत लिखना. Aryan, depending on your branch, fluid mechanics can be a relevant subject for you. It can be a very relevant subject for you. Even if you are from mechanical, if you are from civil, in both the cases, it can be a useful subject for you to prepare. Okay, I think I have tried to address all important aspects related to this interview. Wait for my mail, which I'll send it today evening, specifically addressing the students who have joined from the YouTube channel. If you don't have your information, submit it in the Google Forms. Submit it by referring to it in one of the branch Telegram groups or even in the Made Easy official Telegram channel. That will ensure that you don't miss any communication coming from me. MTech in structural engineering, can you include MTech subjects like FEM, dynamics? FEM can be included. Yes, it's a separate subject in MTech. Yes, you can include it in finite element method. Yes, you can. कोई दिक्कत नहीं. You are a civil engineer, I take it. All right, I think we'll come to the end of this session now with just one last question. Going with my brother, he'll be allowed to stay. Muskan, you will get the permission for your brother to stay with you. Not an issue. Book in advance. It's usually on first come first serve basis. The upper limit is 2 days, which means they have ample accommodation for everybody who's coming. At any given point of time, there are multiple panels running for each branch. और एक दिन में एक पैनल मैक्सिमम 6 से 7 कैंडिडेट्स का इंटरव्यू करता है. So be clear on this. Okay? Don't book your return ticket by an early flight or train. Try to book it by a train or a flight which leaves after 10 p.m. Do provide for the time for travel from BARC to the station or to the airport. It can take 1.5 to 2 hours, right? Lalit, there will be a link available on the website. I'll try to post it in the Google groups or send it by mail to all of you as soon as I'm able to get it. Walk-in accommodation generally is not preferred by them, so book it in advance. MTech spot admissions take place after 15th of July, and they are looking at the DGFS applications by the 7th of July. So spot admissions may be not relevant. Okay, so let's close it today, and I'll look forward to further interactions in case any more are needed. Swapnil, they'll give the link on their website in due course of time. Thank you very much. Prepare well, remain cool, stay focused. Don't waste your time on social media. Don't waste your time in trying to fish around for question banks. It doesn't help. And be successful. My best wishes once again, and bless you all. Thank you.